This is a Mustang. Well, duh. But what makes this one different from every other Mustang? Well, this is a new Edge Mustang from 1999 to 2004. They came with a 2-valve, 4.6-liter engine that was essentially a glorified Crown Vic engine. So needless to say, the new Edge Mustang was not fast. But what if you had a rolling shell of one of these and wanted to make it fast? Well, believe it or not, a lot of people LS swap these. But this time around, I think this was the better decision. This is Roadrunner swapped, aka a beefier version of the Coyote that was in the Ford Mustang Boss 302, and it's an absolute animal. This makes over 700 wheel horsepower, and this short block was purchased for an extraordinarily cheap price. So what's it take to truly make the new Edge Mustang a modern marvel and insanely fast? Let's go for a drive and find out. Come drift into a different dimension on October 28th, 2023 for ThatDudeinBlue's Cosmic Drift. Come hang out at the car show, drive, and just have an amazing time. Hope to see you guys there. So let me ask you something. What if you take a new Edge Mustang GT, you know, the one with the 2-valve Crown Vic motor, essentially. I know they're not exactly the same, but they might as well be. And you fix everything wrong with them. The new Edge Mustang doesn't really feel like a sports car to me. It feels more like a cruiser and just something that sounds good and you can drive around town and make cool noises. And I am claiming this because it was my first car. I had a yellow convertible midlife crisis mobile and I had a great time in it. When I had my first car, I was 17 years old and I could not imagine a build like this existing in a new Edge Mustang. Zero. It might look like it has a Coyote swap, but it actually has a Roadrunner swap. Now, what is a Roadrunner? So the Roadrunner engine is actually from the SN95 Boss 302. The Roadrunner engine was really, really strong. People were making 1,000 horsepower to these, absolutely no problem. But not only that, it has an ESS supercharger on it. It's a centrifugal supercharger. If you don't know what a centrifugal supercharger is, it's essentially a belt-driven turbo. It uses a similar theory of forced induction, but it uses a belt. So what we have here is a 730 wheel horsepower Roadrunner engine, but they bought the short block of this Roadrunner engine for $100. This Roadrunner engine just so happened to be outside one time. Somebody was doing like a spring cleaning in their garage and they left the engine outside. And Brad, who owns the car, asked, hey, what do you want for that engine? And the guy was like, I don't know. It's been outside in the rain. I don't know if it's gonna work. And then Brad goes, how's $100 sound? And he said yes. So think about this, a boosted Coyote in an S550 is very fast. It's a very fast car. I have a 2018 with the VMP Odin on it, and it's pretty dump fast with the 10-speed through it. Oh my God, dude. This car is so much lighter and so much more, well, of the time that it's gonna boogie. Okay. That supercharger just in the background the whole time is just amazing. Also, the differential in the back also has Cobra internals, as in like Terminator Cobra internals, so it can really handle the power you're throwing this thing through. He also has S197 cloth seats in the car, so it's a little bit better than the new Edges. Still has the new Edge interior, has a head unit, stuff like that. But other than that, it has AC. This swap that's not supposed to be in this car has AC, and it's wonderful. What's really cool about the ESS supercharger is that it's very accessible to work on. So if you want to change a pulley out, it's like 5 to 10 minutes. He's done multiple pulley swaps in one day at a dyno day just to be like, let's see what it does with this. Going back on the Roadrunner engine, the Roadrunner was a big influence on the Gen 2 Coyote that you find in the S550. So they took all the lessons of the Roadrunner and put a lot of those lessons in the Gen 2 Coyotes, which is a 2015 to 2017 Mustang GT. Now listen, I know, I drive a lot of Mustangs, but this is why. There's so many combinations of engines, supercharger setups, turbo setups. It's like Legos, you can make it happen. And the Roadrunner engine, other than the rods seem to be a little bit weaker. Just a little bit weaker than everything else. But the crank is really strong, everything else is really strong. Holy crap, dude. I was like getting ready to spin and it just didn't. That was really impressive, dude. Wow, so the blower comes on and when you finally get into boost, it just freaking goes. That was a first gear roll on and I actually stopped doing the pull because I was shocked that it dead hooked. I was like, oh, I was like getting ready to do that. So if you use the 4.6 liter mounts that was, you know, originally in the car and put them on a Coyote or a Roadrunner engine, it just bolts in. It's that simple. You don't really have to do firewall modification. There's not a lot going on. It fits better in the new Edge than it does in the Fox body. And that's kind of like the big Coyote swap right now, or Godzilla, right? The 7.3. But he also, for suspension in the back, is a half-cut factory spring. He had full coilovers on it, but the tire was too big. So he just finally gave up and went back to a spring, cut it, and that's why it has a super aggressive rake. It kind of sits slanted. We also got the Mach 1 grill up front, Mach 1 chin splitter, and the Mach 1 grill and chin spoiler were the first things I ever did to a car, so it's a little nostalgic for me. Also has a massive cowl hood, and with how low I'm sitting, it's a little tough to see out of a little bit, but it's really not that bad. But this is a prime example of using what you got and getting an absolutely incredible result. Oh, I figured out why it was so easy to drive. I had the AC on. So when you swap the Roadrunner engine in there, it doesn't do the shut off AC when you get on it. The shifter's a little tricky. There we go. Never gonna forgive myself if I couldn't get one. So here's the thing. The third gear is actually much closer to the first than I expected. I was locking myself out. And recently I just drove the Saleen S281 and that had the 2-valve in it with a blower on it. And then I revisited the Terminator Cobra. So if you want to see the other new Edges I've driven lately, I'll put it in the cards up above. Bunch of different cars, K20 Integra, K24 Turbo EG hatch, Dodge Magnum with the Hellcat Red Eye engine in it. People still associate me as the Mustang guy on YouTube, which I understand because Smurf is my baby, my original car. But seeing how creative Mustang owners get, it's just so fascinating to me. It's so cool what people do, what people like Brad do. But the owner of this car took this car all the way to Ponies in the Smokies, which is up in Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, like that general area of Tennessee. Drove it the entire event up in the mountains, and it was just fine. Temps are good, everything's good. Brad knew what he was doing. So, Roadrunner swap new Edge. It is weird revving something so high in a car that, well, didn't rev so high. It didn't rev high at all, right? And now I'm in here going, okay, when do I shift? When do I shift? There it is. It's just a really neat experience taking the modern technology of the Coyote, the Roadrunner, and stuff like that, and putting it in the new Edge, which, when you drive a factory new Edge, feels like a really old car by today's standards. This just feels like a drag racing monster with a little bit of that old school feel. What do you guys think of it in the comment section below? Let me know. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because it really helps me into YouTube's very unpredictable algorithmic world. And I will see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Hey David, I'm at this spot. What's going on with this drift event?
Look up. It's about time you showed up.